So I got sent this video to talk about in my emails. John Del Arroz, Doctor Who doubles down on woke with new Martha Jones spin-off series announcement.
It looks like Disney Plus and Doctor Who are doubling down on race replacement. This is cultural appropriation, my friends. British culture has now been appropriated by black Disney culture. It's very...
I miss dog whistles, man. You know, I miss the days when the Conservatives would at least, attempt to hide their open contempt for black people. But now you just get these internet personalities on the political right who just say with their full chest that black people in TV is just replacement theory, is just the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory thought up by the Nazis that they're trying to get rid of all of the white people, and it's probably the Jews who are doing it as well. I miss dog whistles, man. Before we go any further into this, let's actually go into the context here. So all of these rumours and speculations came about because of a supposed leak on Reddit a week ago, where apparently this rumoured Between the Land and the Sea spin-off that is apparently starting production in September is going to star Freema Agyeman as Martha Jones, leading the series in a rural present-day English town, and the unit team are involved: Kate, Shirley and Mel, etc. The title isn't literal, as a lot of people have said recently, and it's quite distinctive to previous spin-offs. The Sea Devils are in it, though. Update: a resume/CV for Dylan Holmes Williams, who was the director of 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble. Shows him as the director for the spin-off series with 5 hour-long episodes. Based on this, we can predict production to complete by either the end of December or January, though this could just be a placeholder runtime too. Estimated release is spring 2026, which also leaves room for a Martha reintroduction in season 2. So the theory is that, the leak is that we're going to be getting a spin-off series of Doctor Who, The War Between the Land and the Sea, which is the trademarked term from Bad Wolf for the BBC, for Doctor Who, for the Whoniverse, broadly speaking. This would be a new spin-off that would be fronted by Martha Jones, aka Freema Agyeman. So Freema Agyeman has been working pretty consistently, both on the stage and on the screen, since she left Doctor Who, over 10 years ago. She returned for Torchwood for Big Finish once or twice, and she's done her own box set as well for Doctor Who, from Big Finish Productions. She was also in that New Amsterdam series. She's in that what's that series with Lily Allen? Yeah, she was also fronting the high-end TV drama from Sky, Dreamland, co-starring alongside Lily Allen. But what we have here with John Del Arroz, who is another, basically reactionary grifter on YouTube, basically trying to incite his audience through misinformation and stuff like that, is that having a previous actor from a Doctor Who series, an established corner of the Doctor Who universe, leading a spin-off alongside other established characters who are white here, Kate, Shirley and Mel. Apparently having Freema Agyeman in a TV series is great replacement shit. Fantastic. So you can't even bring back old non-white companions because apparently this is great replacement shit. Okay.
It looks like Disney Plus and Doctor Who are doubling down on race replacement. This is cultural appropriation, my friends. British culture has now been appropriated by black Disney culture.
Freema Agyeman is British. She is English. Who is being appropriated here? She's from this country. Jesus Christ, just because she's not white doesn't mean she's not from here. Fucking hell.
It's very weird. But they're claiming it's rumors. I've seen it, and it looks like these leaks are confirmed at this point. Martha Jones, the companion who replaced Rose back in the David Tennant era, is looking like she's getting her own spin-off TV series. Very weird. This is something I don't think anybody asked for, that anybody demanded, but here we are.
Excuse me? People have been asking for Freema Agyeman to return since she left. She was so in demand after Series 3 that she came back in Series 4 and in Torchwood and for Big Finish Torchwood. Everyone's been asking for this. Freema Agyeman's career after Doctor Who has gone from strength to strength. Is this guy so disconnected from the fan base that he thinks that a Freema Agyeman-led Doctor Who spin-off is something that we wouldn't want?
2024. So if somebody is black or gay or trans, you can expect they're going to get their own spin-off show. I'm surprised.
This guy, we're 44 seconds in, and it is indisputable, has absolute fucking contempt for black people. It is so clear to the extent where if he watches this, I'm going to do this just to annoy him and trigger him. This is my Series 3 Steelbook. He's now that Freema Regiment is going to be in the background of the video, it will perpetually piss him off. This guy has utter contempt for black people for being in TV. If John Del Arroz was in charge politically, he would not only reintroduce segregation, like Jim Crow era shit, he would just go straight to gas chambers. Like, he would just skip all of the steps. That's how much contempt he has for non-white people. It's so fucking apparent.
They haven't given it to the new Rose, the guy who's Donna Noble's daughter, beautiful daughter. who towers over everybody like a basketball player.
I really don't understand these like supposed anti-trans arguments. Like when you meet a woman who is tall, it is such a self-report. The idea that you've never met a woman in your life, because women can be tall. I'm 6'2". I know women who are taller than me. You know, when it was like Bolstrick in his video of the church on Ruby Road, like, oh, a woman with a suspiciously deep voice. I know women with deeper voices than me. I know women with higher voices than me. Like, women contain multitudes. You can get diversity of women, cis, trans, tall, short, etc., etc. This is such a self-report from John Del Arroz, who just admits with his full chest that he's never seen a woman before in his entire life.
I think I think they're scared to go that far. But this is the news today. We'll get into this in just a moment. Doctor Who doubled down again. My name is John Del Arroz. I'm a #1 best-selling science fiction author, and I really appreciate the Doctor Who audience because you guys have come in and read books, and this has been awesome so far.
You really appreciate the Doctor Who audience, but you don't think that there's demand for Martha Jones to come back. Jesus Christ, what a grift.
This is my Operation War trilogy, which you can get on Amazon right here, all 3 of them. And they are all available on ebook, print, and audio for your convenience. I'll put this link in the description below. And if you want some good, like, quality science fiction that actually, like, pays off, that actually has characters that develop and has a consistent plot, this...
But no blacks. Unironically, his, like... his media affiliation is that no coloured sign from Remembrance of the Daleks. You know, when Ace is staying over at that house and she goes to the window and she sees the no coloured sign in the window. You know, because Doctor Who was never political, you know, even though that was a story from 1988. It's never been political. You know, forget about it. Yeah, that's his political affiliation.
This is the story for you. Check it out. Thanks so much. And please hit the like and subscribe button while you're here. We just hit 25,000 subscribers. This is amazing. I never thought things would be this awesome. Quite the opposite of the ratings for Doctor Who and stuff that they're coping with over there. So I guess they want to circle the drain lower. Doctor Who fans are buzzing with speculation that Martha Jones might just return to Doctor's side in a BBC series. Actress Freema Agyeman, I hope I pronounced that right.
No, you don't. If anything, you wish you could have mispronounced that more.
I know I didn't. You guys can criticize me in the comments. It's fine. Was first seen as Martha Jones in 2007, stepping in to fill the shoes of Billie Piper's Rose Tyler. Definitely did not fill those shoes. I didn't mind her that much, to be honest, but, like, I mean, it was so...
I wonder why you didn't like her. You know, it's not like you've poisoned the well with your audience 2 minutes into this video already. I wonder why you didn't like Martha Jones. I wonder why Rose Tyler was all white with you. I mean, all right with you.
So sad. The Rose storyline was so good, and Billie Piper was so likable that it just, the show did take a downturn until Donna Noble showed up. It really did.
What's the common denominator here? Out of these 3 companions, Rose, Martha, and Donna, which is the one that he likes the least, and what's the common denominator? Scientists are still speculating.
But now the rumors that suggest that Martha might be gearing up for an epic comeback to join forces with Nakuti Gatwa. Yay. The latest incarnation.
The mispronunciation is so intentional. It's so intentional. These black actors with their non-anglicized names, for lack of a better term, the mispronunciation is a part of the grift.
Of the enigmatic Doctor. So they're going to try to bring...
He pronounces enigmatic correctly, but gets Freema and then Shooty's name incorrect. Because that apparently is his actual pronunciation, but he does say Shooty in interviews and such. Actually, to be fair, Shooty Gatwa's name pronunciation is a little bit of a coin toss.
Things back, and this is going to be something that's going to happen next season. We know that the ratings are at the lowest they've ever been for Doctor Who. We know that
that's not strictly speaking true. It has been significantly worse, like in the 80s and during the Capaldi era as well. Like we've seen the figures. We've seen the same figures as you, man. Why do you have to lie about this? Like, you could have just said they're low. Like, but if you have to go with your full chest, they're the lowest that they've ever been. When we can see the same figures and we know objectively that they're not. Like, it's just a further part of the grift.
It's even worse than the Jodie Whittaker era. But they're replacing Millie Gibson already with an Indian lady, right? So you're going to have...
I wonder what his issue is with that.
A fully diverse cast at this point, which is their intention. They want to push that. So, that, of course, they want to bring back people like Martha and actually show that,
Here's the thing, though. When it comes to, quote, diverse casting, it kind of shows just how much tunnel vision and how much brain rot this guy has. When it comes to diverse casting, technically the 60th anniversary specials were also, quote, diverse casting, because you had David Tennant, who is an older guy. It's, an older guy in a sci-fi role. Catherine Tate, an older woman as well. You had Neil Patrick Harris, a gay man, an American gay man, the worst type of gay man, unfortunately. You had Ruth Madeley, a disabled woman as well. You did have, you had Yasmin Finney as a trans black woman as well. Diversity is not just the color of your skin. It's your socioeconomic background. It's your religion. It is your skin color. It's your, whether or not you're able-bodied. It's your age. It's your education, etc., etc. But for this guy, diversity is just skin color. It's all he can focus on. Or, at the very least, most charitably, it's the first and foremost thing when it comes to his mind. And that is so depressing when it comes to his mindset. If that's like the beginning and end of the conversation for diversity for him, no wonder he considers the idea of Freema Agyeman returning to a role to be, quote, great replacements. Jesus Christ, what a victim complex.
There's no white people in Doctor Who anymore. That's the agenda. If you've not woken up to this agenda at this point, please wake up. They want to replace you. They hate you. They hate white people. This is what this is about. They are racist. It's not some nice inclusivity, diversity thing at all.
Right. Okay. Nicola Coughlan in the upcoming Christmas special is a young white Irish woman. Well, I say young. She's in her 30s, but she looks young. Okay? You've got Kate Stewart from Unit. You've got Ruth Madeley playing Shirley Ann Bingham. You've got Mel, Bonnie Langford. You've got all of these white women who are going to be apparently touted for this cast as well. But one black woman in the cast. 1 out of 4. One black woman. And this guy is just losing his mind. They hate you. They're racist because they had the pissing tenacity to cast a single black woman in a role that was already hers and that she has already returned to in the past 15 years. Jesus Christ, this guy wakes up with spunky bed sheets every morning because he's been dreaming about Final Solutions. Jesus Christ.
They're saying it looks like she might return. And actually, the reason I thought this was true, and I was actually expecting this to happen, was if you remember back in a couple months ago, a couple years ago, she was going off. This is an older article, but last year she was going off saying that she was getting racist abuse for being the first black companion. And she was making a whole victim tour about this, much as Russell T Davies and Gott were making their victim tours about the racism and homophobia of all the fans that weren't going to watch the show. You remember the famous Touch Grass, where Gotwa told you not to watch this. So when I saw her doing her victim tour again last...
So this guy is not even going to hide like the dog whistles in the first few minutes of his video. He'll consider black people to be in TV, even if they are a minority of the cast, the rumoured cast we have to stress. But he's going off the same rumours that we are. He considers that to be great replacement Jewish conspiracy shit. And he still thinks that this is like an imaginary thing that they're just making up about the racist abuse. Like, you can't have it both ways, buddy. The grift is not going to sustain itself. Like, you can't just say with your full chest that black people shouldn't be in TV and then say that this is a misery tour for, like, you know, when it comes to your racist backlash. You can't do both. Like, or at least you can't do it coherently. Obviously, this guy is not coherent. He's a white supremacist, obviously. But yeah.
Last year, which started in 2021, I kind of realized that she was in talks with these people because this is how they market these days. They can't market the show based on good writing, good science fiction, good acting. So all they have is the racism, the homophobia, the sexism card. That's all they have. And so when they go out and do their marketing, especially now that they're with Disney, I mean, if you noticed, every Disney movie that's a big movie or TV show since Captain Marvel has been marketed with this cynical, racist and marketing, right?
I mean, no. Categorically no. I mean, often a part of the conversation later on down the marketing, like, hype cycle has to inevitably deal with your fans are review bombing, your supposed fans, I should say in quotes, are review bombing, you know, they hate the idea of black people and other, like, marginalized groups being in the TV show or in the film and stuff. Do you have a response to that? And then that ends up becoming part of the conversation later on, but I have yet to see a single example where they've actually opened with it, where it hasn't been something thrust upon them by people who are obviously stoking the flames here. Like, what this is kind of the cycle. Something gets announced with, like, anything revolving around non-white, non-straight, non-cis, non-able-bodied, etc., etc. These reactionaries get absolutely fucking livid and furious about it and talk about how the Jews are ruining Hollywood and everything. And then they have to, like, respond to that hype cycle. And then they start talking about the supposed backlash against the real fans and stuff. It becomes like a perpetual motion machine. And obviously this guy is fully aware of his place within that perpetual motion machine. He's just deliberately omitting the opening parts of what's instigated that.
And so once I saw this, I was like, oh, I bet she's going to come back soon, because they're loving to put the member berries in to these seasons too. If you noticed, lots of references to Hartnell, lots of references to Tom Baker. They brought back the companion squad. They're
genuine question. Outside of Series 1, Series 11, when has Doctor Who not done that? Like, in the past, 20 years that the show's been back, with the exception of Series 1 and Series 11, when has the show not done that? That's kind of what it's done. Series 2 in 2006 brought back Elizabeth Sladen. They brought back the Cybermen. You know, all of this. They brought back Gabriel Wolfe to play the Beast in that series as well. All of these callbacks and these, bringing back the old cast members and stuff. This has been like a constant for, the past 18 years, at least.
They're definitely.
Thank you to Jelly for subscribing during the live stream.
They brought back classic villains like Sutek and, of course, the Master. So they're leaning.
Sorry, is he referring to the last series? Because the Master hasn't come back yet, so he's not even watching the show. He doesn't even know what's happened in the last series.
Heavily into remember the history of Doctor Who, to try to act like this is somehow like a legitimate thing, this woke bastardization they're doing. So I actually thought she was going to come back because she did the Victim tour as well, and this is what you see. And so somebody posted.
1 second, let's go. That wasn't like a Victim tour. That wasn't promoting anything. 1 second, it was something for Ofcom, wasn't it? We talked about this at the time. She was speaking at Ofcom's Diversity in Broadcasting event as part of National Inclusion Week. This wasn't like a hype thing to promote a TV show or a theatre production she was doing. She was invited to speak at an Ofcom event. This wasn't like a Victim tour. This was just her talking about her experiences. She was invited to talk about this topic, by a publicly owned institution, Ofcom. So even the framing of this doesn't make sense. Obviously, even if she was talking about this to promote, New Amsterdam or Dreamland or something she's doing on the stage or whatever, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. She's allowed to talk about her experiences and her story. That's absolutely fine. But even, that aspect of the conversation, he's just completely omitted, I think deliberately, because I think he wants to try and remove her agency. I think this is so much of the conversation here, that he just wants to remove the humanity and the agency, of course from black people. He doesn't believe that black people are human, obviously, but in regards to like the broader conversation about people who try and champion diversity or inequality and stuff in media, he wants to remove their agency. He thinks that, you know, after this victim tour, she's now in conversations with the BBC and Disney, and they're pulling her strings. It removes their humanity and their lack of agency. Even if he'd said that I loved Martha Jones as a companion, he'd now have to backtrack on that and besmirch her abilities, her talent, her agency as a person, as an actor, as a performer, as a creative in her own right, in order to try and sell the idea that this is some weird coordinated, probably Jewish effort to replace white people and remove them from media. It's so transparent. Once you've watched enough of these videos like I have, you can spot these patterns from a mile away.
Based on leaks, apparent details regarding the war between land and sea, courtesy of Brandon B on Gallifrey Base.
And also the idea that like they want to try and make everybody black in Doctor Who. Have you seen that writer's room? Have you seen that director pool? With the exception of Mark Tonderai. Have you seen the producer room? All white as the driven snow. Whiter than a Vanilla Ice audience, okay? Jesus Christ, whiter than your audience, buddy. With the exception of one black director for the Church on Ruby Road episode. It's as white as the driven snow. So this is just like, and that is an issue, especially when you want to tell stories like Dot and Bubble. But like, it's just such an imagined hypocrisy here. It's so fake. He's getting upset at his own hate fiction, because it's not fan fiction, it's hate fiction.
And there's a leak reporting the Express. It says Martha Jones will be leading the series in a rural, present-day English town, and the unit team are involved. That's the...
How is he going to deal with this now? Because he's now saying that there's no white people in Doctor Who, and he's about to read the names of 3 white people. How does he do it?
The old companions and shit with Mel. Gosh, that's cringy, too. The title isn't literal.
That's cringy, too. So he reads out loud something that completely refutes everything that he's been saying, and he's like, yeah, that's cringy too. There's no winning with this guy. This is a guy who's just in a perpetual state of offendedness. He's perpetually triggered. He's a perpetual trigger machine.
And is quite distinctive to previous spin-offs. So I guess they're going to try to do a Sarah Jane's Adventures thing. That was a good show, by the way, if you didn't watch the Sarah Jane's Adventures.
I wonder why he prefers Sarah Jane to Martha Jones.
An aside, that was pretty wholesome and good. But they're going to try to do this now with Martha.
Actually, that's a point. How does he enjoy the Sarah Jane Adventures? A series led by a white woman, but also co-starring Daniel Anthony, a young black man, Anjali Mahindra, a young Asian woman. How does he square that circle? I'm fascinated to know that. How does he square that circle? Or is he able to square that circle because Elizabeth Sladen is the undisputed lead of that series? I've got to know. He prefers Maria. He does, yeah. He hates the Bubble Shock episode because of that companion hopeful who never made it past that first episode.
The thing is, she was never popular as a companion. When you talk about the David Tennant era companion,
excuse me,
you get Rose and Donna Noble, and then Martha gets kind of talked about as an aside thing because just the storylines were not that good with her. They were okay. They were.
Please give an example. Notice we're nearly 7 minutes in, and he's never actually made a statement regarding his opinion on something specific within the show. Like, he's even been wrong about the details. The Master was not in the past series of Doctor Who. So what about Martha did he not like as a character compared to Rose? Other than Rose was likable, aka Rose was white. What are the specifics here? Come on, he's giving us nothing to work with here.
They were terrible. It's not like now by any means. But this is a very odd choice. If giving Donna Noble her own series would make a lot more sense, and I think people would like that a lot better.
Okay, he says it would make more sense because she's white. Obviously, that's his, like, that's all that is powering his mind. That is, like, the single hamster wheel going around in his brain right now, powering his cognitive function. But, like, it actually would kind of make more immediate sense because Donna Noble is, like, been reintroduced after the 60th anniversary. She's got the established, like, family as well. Whereas, like, with Martha Jones, you would be picking up, like, essentially, like, 13 years later after, like, because she got married to Mickey. She was married to Mickey at the end of time, and you're not bringing Noel Clark back. But I wonder what this guy has to think about that. Jesus Christ, what does he have to think about that? But when it comes to Martha Jones, you do have to pick the audience, like, up to speed on that one. Whereas with Donna, we already know what her current status quo is. We don't for Martha. So, yeah, in essence, it would make more sense to have a Catherine Tate spin-off, but Freema Agyeman has still been working and is a very prolific actress after she left Doctor Who.
Hey, it's not my decision. It's Disney Plus's, after all. If Martha Jones rumors are true, I wonder if she's...
Like, here's the thing, though. This spin-off leak, we've not had any details about Disney Plus. Like, I've been following these, like, the War Between the Land and the Sea spin-off rumors. Disney Plus has never been mentioned in any of those conversations. Like, as far as we're aware, this is like a Bad Wolf and BBC co-production that maybe Disney Plus might distribute, but they've not had any confirmation there. Like, if we knew that if Disney Plus were funding a prospective spin-off, we would have heard about that by now, but we haven't. Like, we know nothing about that situation. So, like, he's just throwing in Disney Plus because what? Because they've hired a black person, allegedly? Like, that he's really trying to force the Disney Plus connection, even though there's currently no evidence for it. Things like Tales of the TARDIS were Bad Wolf and BBC co-productions that don't have anything to do with Disney Plus. Doctor Who Unleashed is a Bad Wolf and BBC co-production that has nothing to do with Disney Plus. So the idea that a spin-off as well, outside of Doctor Who, doesn't have direct Disney Plus involvement is not, like, it's not unreasonable.
Still married to Mickey, or she'll have...
Her being with Mickey is so out of the blue and forced anyway. Oh, 100%. This is one of the reasons why I think Russell T Davies is well-intentioned when it comes to his depictions of, like, non-white people in media. But the idea of Martha and Mickey getting together, why? Just because they're black? I don't really like the subtext as well, that because, Martha was, quote, second best to Rose, and, Mickey was not good enough for Rose, that Martha essentially gets the second best person. Like, I don't like the subtext there.
If she will always have been married to someone else. Enthusiasm builds... There's no enthusiasm here. This is a couple people were commenting based on this. I'm sure if the rumors are...
This guy does not follow Doctor Who discussion at all. Not one iota. Not at all. Also, this photo here, I remember being on holiday and going to an internet cafe and seeing the news and seeing these pictures as well of David Tennant and Freema Agyeman when it was announced, right, that they were going to be the new Doctor companion pairing, and seeing, I think it was actually the Daily Mail, and then scrolling down to the comment section and just seeing so much racism towards Freema Agyeman, like, from the initial announcement from the Daily Mail website. Like, I think that was, like, as a guy who grew up in rural England who did not see many non-white people, it was probably one of the first times that I'd seen out-and-out racism, like, out in the open, and it was towards Freema Agyeman, which is why I completely, like, believe and buy her stories when she did this Ofcom presentation.
True about a spinoff. Love to see a 15 and Martha dynamic on screen. There are two viewers left might like this. But, it looks like this is happening. It looks like it's real. What I read from my sources is that Disney Plus has greenlit this and are funding it.
Wait 1 second. I want to make sure I heard that correctly.
It looks like this is happening. It looks like it's real. What I read from my sources is that Disney Plus...
Dude, you're a conservative YouTuber with 25,000 subscribers. You don't have any fucking sources. Jesus Christ. Are you a bit like Null Zone, where you spend every minute of your day wanting to tear down Doctor Who, but you somehow still have sources within Doctor Who and the BBC that will feed you accurate information? Jesus fucking Christ. Get a grip. No, you don't. You fucking LARPer.
Has greenlit this. And are funding it. It will be.
This is roleplay, by the way. This video is the epitome of roleplay. You know, like he wants to think of himself as an actual like Doctor Who fan. Like, so he's role playing on multiple levels here. He's role playing as somebody who would get actual like sources from the BBC and Bad Wolf and stuff to confirm this stuff. He's role playing as a Doctor Who fan who's like a concerned fan who has watched the show before but clearly can't cite any sort of specifics. He's role playing as a perpetually offended guy, and he's also role playing as somebody whose hard drive is stacked with interracial pornography.
On Disney Plus as well as the BBC, much like the current iteration of The Doctor. And it's already in production. So this is going to be happening very, very soon.
I mean, it's not in production, because if it was, we would know about it because we'd have the paperwork for it. It's rumored to be in pre-production, with production starting in September. As you say that you've got a source, and yet you don't know the difference between production and pre-production. It's fucking LARPing. Did not see that last one coming. He's an online conservative who wants to commit a final solution against black people. Of course you see that coming. That's like the baseline to it. Like when you've watched enough, reactionary videos, when you've talked to enough conservatives, it's a predictable pattern.
Now, I'm just wondering, like, why do a spin-off series now when Russell T Davies is saying things like the future of Doctor Who's in jeopardy? Now, we know that Russell T...
He's lying. He's not said that. He's just said that a third series hasn't officially been commissioned and greenlit because they still haven't even finished Series 2 yet, and they're still waiting for the 28D figures for Series 1 to come in. And also, the idea that this is apparently in production, even though this guy's own admission, his quote source, that it's in production now, there is no universe where the BBC and Bad Wolf greenlight the War Between the Land and Sea spin-off, but don't greenlight another series of Doctor Who. There is no universe where that happens. Can you imagine in 2006, for example, where we don't get a third or fourth series of Doctor Who, but we get Torchwood and we get the Sarah Jane Adventures? There is no universe where that happens. If this spin-off does get greenlit, a third series of Doctor Who is assured, 100%. But once again, he's lying about what Russ T Davies said. He's just saying that a third series just hasn't been commissioned because they're probably doing them in 2-season blocks. We're not even halfway through the first block because the Christmas special hasn't been broadcast yet. This is fine. This is normal.
T. Davies has already started writing and working on a third and fourth season, that the second season of Got Was Doctor Who is done. But the ratings being dismal, and in the second season, I'm going to predict right now that they're going to drop even more.
It's still a top 10 BBC drama. It was still getting millions of viewers and was still one of the most talked about shows, and is the number one show in the under 35 demographic, which the BBC desperately wants and needs. They're not stopping Doctor Who at this current juncture. When it actually starts getting bad, I'll let you folks know.
Without Millie Gibson's influence, because it's just going to be a disaster. Why?
Without Millie... What is he implying here? That without the young white Mancunian, Doctor Who's going to fall apart? What is he implying here? What delusion are we dealing with?
Why, when things are in such a perilous spot,
is he implying that Millie Gibson being the Doctor Who companion for 9 episodes, including the Christmas special, was the gel holding the show together? Why? Because her co-star was black? That's all I can infer from this. What? But will Rusty Davies still with the showrunner for Series 3? He says he's already writing scripts for Series 3, so I think so, yeah.
Would you double down and have another black lead, do a strong female lead Doctor Who spinoff that nobody wants?
He's just saying it with his full chest, by the way. That, it's bad because a black woman lead. And that's the beginning and the end of it. I will say, those 25,000 subscribers, if you watch and comment on this guy, you do despise black people. And I'm absolutely okay to make that distinction. I'm okay to plant the flag there ideologically. 100%, no regrets. If I am recruiting for a TV show or casting for a TV show, in my freelance job, and I see that you are subscribed or liking this guy's videos, I'm going to assume that you want to enact harm on black people. There's no ambiguity here. If you like and agree with what this guy says, with no dog whistle, with full chest white replacement theory, racism, anti-Semitism and stuff, you hate black people. There's no... This is cut and dry. There's no ambiguity, no moral grey area here. 1,000%.
It's just insane to me.
We all know the implication. This isn't implication. He's just saying it. Like I said, I miss the day when conservatives used dog whistles.
Really, really are just sniffing their own farts over at Bad Wolf and the BBC, and they really are just thinking they can do whatever they want They can just make everything.
Oh, the absolute audacity to cast one black woman. The absolute audacity of Bad Wolf sniffing their own farts, wanting to go into the back catalogue of Doctor Who casting for like, what? This isn't even like an Ironheart Marvel situation where the young female black quote replacement for Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe based off the comic book character Riri Williams, was it? I'm not super up to date with Marvel comics, but like this isn't even like introducing a new character for a spin-off or introducing a character for something later on down the line. She was in Wakanda Forever, and then she's going to be in this Armored Wars series or film, whatever they're doing with it, I don't know. But like Martha Jones has been like a fixture of the Doctor Who universe since 2007, well 2006 if you include her cameo in Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, where she played her cousin Adiola, and then they cast her because that's Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat's approach. You can just cast the same person as a relative. But yeah, God.
Thing about race, about sex, about gender, whatever it is, their current year is, and that they can just push forward.
The irony of saying that casting a black woman in a TV show is, quote, current yearism, while looking at a photo that came out in, late 2006, early 2007? The absolute lack of self-awareness is amazing. Like I said, this guy is LARPing. I don't think he can actually believe coherently these thoughts in his head, thinking that this image from approaching 18 years old now, but proclaiming current yearism on it, I don't think his brain could actually handle that contradiction. Which is why he has the opinions he has, by the way. Wait, that was her cousin? Yeah, in Army of Ghosts, Freema Rajiman plays an employee at Torchwood who gets killed and converted by the Cybermen. She's killed, and then in Smith and Jones, when Martha Jones makes her appearance, they're talking about alien invasions and stuff, and Torchwood and that. And then she says, I had a cousin, Adiola. She was at the Battle of Canary Wharf and she never came home. And the Doctor kind of like, I think it's implied in the actual text of the screenplay that like the Doctor kind of remembers but doesn't say anything. So yeah, that was how they met her on the set of Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, and liked her so much that they invited her to audition and screen test with David Tennant.
And it looks like, I guess, Disney's funding it. I mean, when you get these companies like Disney that are pretty much owned by BlackRock, and you get the BBC, the government funding.
Yes, BlackRock, the beacon of progressivism. Sorry, I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
Things. I guess you can culturally appropriate British culture and turn...
Culture? Do you not even know what these words mean? Freema Agyeman is a British actress. She's been in the show before. What is being appropriated here? Like, this is why this guy does videos, unscripted videos, clearly, without a live chat, without, like, not in conversation with anyone else, because anyone he would be talking to, anyone he'd be having a dialogue with, would instantly be like, what the fuck are you on about, man? What the fuck are you on about, you absolute idiot?
Turn it into, like, some weird Americanized Disney black...
She's British! How is black people being in media, quote, Americanizing it? Like, this is the thing, though. There is no amount of representation that would be suitable representation for people like this. Like, one black person is too much. One disabled person is too much. One trans person is too much. Like, there is, like, the only appropriate level of, quote, diverse casting that these people would be happy with is zero. None. A flat zero. Hopefully negative if they can possibly make those metrics work. That is, like, that's what fuels these guys every day.
Thing for everybody to keep producing shows. Very bizarre. So she only had, like, 10 episodes, and she ditched the TARDIS in 2010. Critics...
13... in Series 3, 3 in Series 4, when she came back for Sontaran Stratagem Poison Sky. She came back for Journey's End and The Stolen Earth. She came back for The End of Time Part 2. I've lost count here, by the way, but I'm just proving the point that he doesn't have a clue what he's fucking talking about. He came back for 2 episodes of Torchwood, or was it 3 episodes of Torchwood? She came back for Big Finish multiple times for Torchwood and that Martha Jones Year That Never Was spin-off. Like, Jesus Christ, what is he on about?
Slammed her on-screen character from the get-go for her one-sided crush on the Doctor, starting with their wild first meeting. Well, There you go. Critics hated it. Let's bring her back. And the only reason to bring her back is only one.
Okay, firstly, critics hated it. What the fuck is he on about? And also, that was a bit of a Freudian slip there. Did you hear that?
Did it? Let's bring her back. And the only reason to bring her back is
the only reason to bring her back. It's so on the forefront of his mind. He unironically, what is that? It's from Anchorman 2. Is it Anchorman 2 when Ron Burgundy goes to have like dinner with that woman and like she's black and her family's black and he's just like black. Like, that was done in Anchorman as a parody, but this guy's living it. This guy is a walking, talking like parody of reactionary conservatism. What Will Ferrell did as a joke, this guy is the living embodiment of. And like I said, this guy's hard drive is stacked with interracial porn. It's this, it's him. It's the type. If you go onto like forums and stuff like, 4chan and these like Twitter threads where, Nazis are hating on black people, they're just completely obsessed with interracial porn. You think I'm making that up? It's not. It's a clear, consistent trend.
Only one reason, because she's black. That's it. So
once again, we're removing Freem Rajiman's agency as a creative and as a person, because Freem Rajiman has had a prolific career since Doctor Who. Obviously, she's returned to Doctor Who and Torchwood and stuff numerous times, but she's been the headline of several high-profile shows like New Amsterdam, like Dreamland. 1 second, let's actually bring up her Wikipedia page so we can actually see. The worst fate imaginable being a Will Ferrell joke. Unironically, yes. Oh yeah, she was in The Matrix Resurrections as well. I've still not seen that yet. So since Doctor Who, Torchwood, Survivors, Bizarre ER. Oh yeah, she was in like 3 seasons of Law and Order UK. I forgot about that. In the main cast of The Carrie Diaries. She was in Old Jack's Boat as well, which is a Russell T Davies endeavour. Rubenesque, Sense8. She has done so much shit. I've actually undersold Freema Agyeman's post-Doctor Who credentials. Sense8, she was the narrator for Panorama for an episode. 4 seasons of New Amsterdam, over 76 episodes. My wife loves this show, by the way. This is, my wife doesn't watch much Doctor Who anyway, but this is mainly what she knows Freema Agyeman for. Dreamland, which is a big Sky Atlantic production. More The Year of Martha Jones for Big Finish as well. Audio and radio theatre as well. Apologia, God of Carnage. Oh yeah, she's currently doing a new version of Romeo and Juliet with Tom Holland in it. Oh God, do not tell this guy about this version of Romeo and Juliet because it's an interracial romance. Do not let him know. He will unleash his full Will Ferrell powers. This is currently what Freema Agyeman's working on. So I imagine if she were to do this spin-off, she'd finish her run on this and then go on to In the War Between the Land and the Sea. So yeah, like Freema Agyeman's post-Doctor Who career has been pretty outstanding. She's done incredibly well. But this guy is just like, they would only bring her back because she's black. Because that's all this guy can see. He can literally see no further than the skin-deep talent of Freema Agyeman. Because she's black, that's clearly the only reason she's getting hired. Not her talent, not her status within the fandom, not the fact that she still has a good relationship with Doctor Who because she's done some conventions. She does the Big Finish audio dramas and such. No, she's just black. That's it. That's just it. That's genuinely it. Like I said, if you follow and like this guy, you just despise black people with every fibre of your being. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
There you go. Critics hated it. Let's bring her back. And the only reason to bring her back is only one reason, because she's black. That's it. So, yeah, this is going forward. It's in development. It's going to be on Disney+. We're going to get
Didn't realize she was in Romeo and Juliet. It's apparently not great, though. To be fair, I've not seen any of the discourse surrounding Romeo and Juliet. It's a modern Shakespeare adaptation directed by Jamie Lloyd. You get what you pay for with that one.
It's alongside Doctor Who Season 2 with Gatwa. And it's going to be an absolute...
Didn't even bother to pronounce his first name. Just went for Gatwa. I heard the pause. I heard the hesitation.
Train wreck, but we'll be here to cover it, my friends. Don't worry. I'll watch it so you don't have to. And
my dude, you couldn't even give a specific example of why you didn't like Martha Jones in her series. You thought The Master was in the last series. You're not even watching it. Why are you so invested in a show that you're not even watching? You're covering it, but you're not even watching it.
And we'll laugh at this together. That's all we can do. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button if you want to check out some good space opera right here.
Yeah, but I recognize this guy's thumbnails as well. I think we've actually seen them on screen. Doctor Who doubles down on LGBTQ plus insanity while shooting out with gouges his fans. This is beyond gay. They hate the fans. Queer fans all fake. They killed Doctor Who. They killed the show. Yeah, here we go. Rusty Davis attacks white people in new Insane Doctor Who interview. They want whites dead. Stuff like this, they want whites dead, is like akin to scholastic terrorism. Like when they're trying to like incite people, trying to incite anyone delusional enough to take this guy seriously and his commentary seriously into committing acts of terrorism. You know, there's a reason why, like, the guy who tried to assassinate Nancy Pelosi, they discovered going through his YouTube history that he was like a Fandom Menace supporter, that he watched channels like Ben Shapiro and Nerdrotic and stuff. Like, he was radicalized from Fandom Menace shit like this, and he tried to assassinate a political operative. Like, that's honestly the end goal for people like this. Like, this is pure evil. Doctor Who anti-white Christian rant of episode in Bubble and Dot. Can't even get the episode title correct. It's Dot and Bubble. Jesus Christ. Ncuti Gatwa unhinged racist rant against white Doctor Who fans. He wants you dead. Fucking hell. Like I said, this is a form of, this is genuinely, and it sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not, because it's technically correct. This is kind of like a form of terrorism. There's a reason why Ncuti Gatwa has had to hire 24/7 security, because you have people like John Della Roz wanting to try and like put a target on his back and be like, oh, if, you know, my clearly mentally well fans and viewers who follow my videos and stuff, he wants you dead. This guy, I will put the name here. He wants you dead if you're white. You know, maybe you should do something about that. It's pure, dude's insane. Yeah, he's your average conservative. Of course he is.
And the kids would be acting scenes out from it.
Yeah.
So you were kind of a fan of everything anyway, whatever was on.
Yeah.
That was how it was, yeah.
Hello. No, I wasn't a fan, but you'd always read in the press. I was always playing out. But
Like a Chad.
you'd always read in the press that the Doctor was changing. And as a child, I was really...
True Scouts Paul McGann. Yeah, I saw somebody mention this the other day, that Paul McGann and David Tennant are some of the only Doctors to not... Well, is it Hartnell, McGann, and Tennant are the only Doctors to not use their natural voices, natural accents for the role of the Doctor? Because when Paul McGann plays the Doctor, he goes full received pronunciation. David Tennant does as well. He's Scottish, of course, and William Hartnell, not so much putting on an accent, but putting on a voice, a persona for the first Doctor. It's really fascinating to listen to William Hartnell's Desert Island Disc episode from 65, 66, and just how different his voice is to the voice he gave the Doctor. So yeah, he's one of the ones who, it's so interesting to listen to interviews and hearing his Scouse accent come through. I remember going to the World of Wonder exhibition when it was still in Liverpool. It's now in Edinburgh. Or is it? No, it's moved now to New Zealand. Yeah, because Billy Garrett John from Review of Death visited and covered it when it came to New Zealand. That's really cool. When it was in Liverpool, one of the big promo walls they had at the end was all of the Doctor Who actors and creatives from Liverpool, and Tom Baker and Paul McGann are there. Yeah, Jodie was about to do RP apparently. Yeah, she as well as Eccleston really advocated and fought for using their natural voices and their natural accents. It's not very often that you hear Salford accents, Mancunian accents, Huddersfield accents as well for Jodie in like genre programming. It is very RP. Or if you are like, you know, you could be Cockney or Scouse or something if you are one of the Urchin characters or something. But no, it's really cool to have like an actor like Eccleston, an actor like Whittaker, to bring your natural voice, and it's a more like working class, salt of the earth, for lack of a better term, voice, and they are the main genre authority figure, the smartest person in the room. That's also, we were talking about this earlier, that is an element of diversity casting as well. Eccleston in 2005 was a, quote, diverse Doctor, because he was from a working class background. He was Mancunian with a distinct Mancunian accent that he kept for the role, and he advocated for keeping his Salford accent for the role of the Doctor. So when you think of diversity as just disability, as just gender, as just the colour of your skin, that's a you problem, and it kind of shows your own tunnel vision.